all-weather strategy that can adapt to news-driven, ranging, trending, and all sorts of technical environments. Okay, some more truths coming through here. Someone says fact, preach, and then some falses. Okay, yes, yes. Okay. All right. So the truth is, the answer to all these questions isn't as straightforward as you think. Yeah, but here's what I can tell you. If you're treating every market the same way, you're probably missing out on some big opportunities, or worse, walking into setups that are fundamentally flawed. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in today's session. We're going to focus on scalping secrets that most traders never discover on their own. These aren't just any old tips. These are the types of insights that make the difference between failing as a trader or going on to become an elite trader like those who you'll see on our trading floors. Elite traders on the floors in London, Poland, and Cyprus, traders with lasting careers trading and performing in all sorts of market conditions. Now, the reality is that trading success is often less about perfecting a single strategy and more about knowing when to apply a specific strategy. And today, I'll be joined by Alex Hayward and Richard Bailey, who will show you just how to do that. But first, let me ask you, have you ever felt like you're so close to catching the right move, only for the market to then shift direction? Or maybe you've noticed that some trades work well in trading, like trending, but seem to fail in choppy range-bound environments. Or worse, you work so hard, you study your charts, you refine your strategy, and then finally, it feels like things are clicking. But then, out of nowhere, the market shifts, and what used to work suddenly stops and doesn't anymore. You adjust, you keep pushing forward, but just when you think you're about to get the hang of it, everything changes and you're back to square one. It's draining, it's disheartening, and this is where most traders quit. As well as their dreams of working for themselves, trading full time, achieving consistency, it fades to black. And here's what I want you to know. You're not alone in this. Richard and Alex, who you'll meet in a minute, have seen so many traders experience this exact same frustration. They know what separates the traders who push through and succeed from those who never quite make it out of that rut and go on to build successful careers. What if I told you there's a better way? A way to know what type of scalping strategy to use and when, how the real trading game actually works, and how it's changed, and how to increase your success rate, and a whole lot more. But before we get into that, I should also answer the question, why should you even listen to us? Why is Axia Futures the best authority to learn from when it comes to developing a career as a professional trader? Well, Axia Trading Group is one of the top proprietary firms out there. Our traders trade large amounts of capital on a daily basis, and we're developing cutting-edge trading floors where our strategies are honed and refined. Axia consists of two core divisions. We've got Axia Markets Pro, which is a FCA regulated and provides a gateway for professional traders to trade in global markets. And then Axia Futures, our educational platform, where we help traders like you gain access to professional trading skills, strategies, and setups, and which also looks to source talent for our desks. But more on that later. You should also know that Axia was born on the eve of Brexit, one of the most volatile market events in recent history, and our traders capitalized on the massive moves that followed, making it a defining moment for our team and launched many of our traders' careers. Now, traders are not just hobbyists, they are professionals who generate real returns in real markets day in and day out. And in today's workshop, you're getting direct access to the type of knowledge and mentoring that our traders benefit from on a daily basis. So to lead the session, I'm going to first bring on our co-founder, Alex Hayward, and then Richard Bailey, who's our head of training, to give you some first give you some background information. Alex has built trading floors across Europe over the past decade. He's built our London floor, our Poland, Cyprus, and is launching 2 new floors in Bahamas and Greece. He's been a mentor to high performance coach to many 7 and 8 figure traders in our team. And he brought the industry back to life in 2016 by creating the fastest growing prop team in London while teams were failing all around him, failing to recognize the transition that the industry was undergoing. And he's always leveraged creative disruption and played a role in evolving the industry from screen-based, one-market specialist traders to the collaborative army of elite traders you see at Axia who utilize new modes of development. And he's often sought after internationally for his innovative learning and training protocols to fast-track traders' careers to elite levels, and he's responsible for reshaping the European prop industry to new performance heights. And then we'll be joined by Richard Bailey, who's the head of training at Axia Futures. He's responsible for developing a lot of the strategies that are used by our traders. He personally started trading during the 2008 great financial crisis. He was mentored and learned from a lot great traders at the firm that he was at. And during that 2008 volatility, he was able to adapt his style and started using professional tools like market profiles and footprints and order flow. And this all helped develop the Axiom training method, which is taught to all the traders on our desks. He's mentored many traders from junior to elite, so he really knows what it takes to build a successful trading career from scratch and how to achieve and compete at elite performance levels. So to kick things off, let's welcome Alex to the call. Alex, are you here to kick things off?
Hi, yes, thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Craig. Such a pleasure to be here and to see everyone from across the planet, familiar names. Hi, Stelio, who will be running the office in Greece. So super excited and, always wonderful to be in this space, working, work with our traders consistently. For those of you who maybe can see, you might be plugged into my eye that the vessel's all burst. One on the one side had a bit of an accident last week. The doctor assured me, so I might look like a bit of a zombie, or you might have think I've had a late night. It's just an eye injury. So what I'm going to be doing, and again, hi Hugh, Stephen, Gabrielle, who's in this room, will be joining us on the Cyprus floor within the month. So we have a couple of people in this group today who. Hi, Shushant. Hi, Alex. You're in Cyprus? Yes, I am in Cyprus. Sagi, Berg, welcome to Cyprus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. If you guys can just let me know if you can see my screen. I'm going to pop up just the chat so I can see it. Fantastic. Okay, welcome. And just to let you know, this is going to be a fast pace. So I need you to hang on for the drive because I need you to focus, as this could change. And I don't say this lightly. This could change the very fabric and the direction of your trading for the rest of your career. And the other reason why you need to remain really focused is because I do mumble, and sometimes I veer off a little bit of course. So you have to kind of catch me at moments. But today's session is rather significant of how we develop new traders en masse. And we're going on a very aggressive program next year of sourcing and developing traders on our that start on our 6-week career program. The next one starts on Monday. And we are on a mission next year to, with our new offices that are coming online, our new physical offices, as well as looking for remote trading talent. We're on a mission to build our trading desk that's now currently approximately 140 traders to double that in the space of a year. So those of you who are driven, who want to develop, we're always looking out for talent. Now, before I give you the main act, and perhaps, or I know in my circles, the planet's greatest coach, teacher, and mentor, Richard Bailey, within the futures market, to reveal this, the scalping tactics and innovative approaches that he's using with the traders on the desk, with the traders that he'll be taking on from Monday next week on the 6-week career program. I'm just going to be doing a dress rehearsal. Okay, and it's effectively a 30,000-foot view. Now, some of you are saying, okay, I want to get to Richard's part. I want to see the scalping that he's working on. He's going to be looking at, one of the markets. There's 2 Pacific markets looking at, one of them being the ES. But, the most important part, before you see yourself, and Craig was asking us questions right at the beginning, before you see yourself as a singular, one-trick pony, one market, one strategist, I want to give you a framework, a map of how you can navigate as a scalper, be adaptive, anti-fragile, and be like some of my top 7 and 8-figure traders, because all of them, and I always mention, none of them had a special talent, but just a smart way to develop with, and I always mention, you've got to copy, then create. You benchmark against the best practices, the best frameworks, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and then you create your own unique biology. So, how do we diagnose traders? And I have many traders, coming, from us with 20 years of trying this game, never making money. Traders have been, trying out for a year, 6 months. But how do we as a firm even our traders who are struggling, do we have, as a firm, how do we diagnose traders with crippling performance injuries? And you may have had many injuries over the duration of either your long or short career in this game. And how do we turn traders around from being serial loss makers into high performing trading athletes? And as I mentioned, before we get into Richard's masterclass on scalping, I want to give you a framework. And so we interjected this framework before today's workshop, just this very morning, that we thought, listen, let's give you today a framework of what we work that we've never released in this fashion before. So those of you who've been listening to us, or those of you on our 6-week preparing with our blueprint, you have never heard, you would have heard it in component parts, but not in this so-called seamless structure that I'm really describing to you today. Well, we do it with an equation. We do it with an equation. Now, our equation is not about solving the market. We leave that to Jeff Simmons and his team from Renaissance Capital. They solve markets with all of their big quantitative environments. They solve it from a quant machine perspective. We solve performances at Axia. That's what we do. We solve performances at Axia. And we've been doing it now in this scale for the last 10 years, almost 10 years now. And I'm about to show you the equation that solves a scalper's performance. Again, just to remind you, before Richard's session, I'm giving you a 30,000-foot view. Those who are just looking for one singular strategy, you might as well switch off now, because we're here to develop a holistic, well-grounded, a person who can navigate, who can adapt, who's anti-fragile, who can move across different multiple terrains in the market, and therefore prove an elite level of consistency. Please put your questions in there, and we'll be answering the questions at the end. So this is a scalper's 30,000-foot view of the market. Here's the equation. Now, this is not Oppenheimer. This is not a hieroglyphics workshop. It's an equation of extreme simplicity, but has profound impact. We always try, when you teach, if you can teach simply, it should never be complex, then you know the direction that you're going. So what is this equation that I've just shown you? Well, this equation is not just maths. It's a performance tool, a diagnostic instrument for our coaches to develop all of our traders across the planet. Just like when you have a health issue, the best, whether you go to a holistic alternative therapist because traditional medicine has perhaps failed you, we try and approach a very holistic diagnostic instrument for our coaches to develop all of our traders across the planet. Now, I just flashed you that variable. So let's tackle it one variable at a time. Sorry, I just flashed you that equation. It's going to be made very, very simple. So let's tackle T. Okay. So those of you who are mathematicians, those of you who aren't, don't understand maths at all. Well, this isn't a pure maths equation. It's an Axia performance equation. And I'll be explaining it. So what is T? Well, T is where traders spend 99% of their lifetime in this so-called deep blue zone. This is where people spend most of the time chasing a tool, chasing a new holy grail, whether it's a Bollinger Band, a Fibonacci, a DOM, whether it's a profile, whether it's a footprint. They keep on chasing new tools that look and sound sexy. Someone delivers it really well. An educator delivers it very well. And as I call it like these so-called retail shoppers of tools and of courses and of training. But if this is a multiplier over here, and this is a product function, well, you can shop all the tools that you want. But if you don't have these other variables in play, you could be a tool guru. But if these variables do not exist, the S and the E, and they are zero, It doesn't matter how many tools, if you tried and tested and how intimate you know the tool, you're not going to perform. And let me explain that with this equation. So, well, this equation is effectively the profit factor, or the edge. Call it profit, P&L. And it's a product of the tools you use, the skills of how you apply these tools, and the environment. And the I is the specific environment optimized. So when you're an experienced trader who's navigated multiple environments, well, you are an environment individual that's gone through multiple environment regimes. If you've just arrived in the market and you just witnessed the last 3 months during the Iran, Middle East, Israel crisis, well, you've experienced one type of volatility environment, so your number is 1. But each of these I's is there is an optimized way to use the right tools with the right skill sets that we train in the right environment. And I'm explaining and stripping these down for you. And we're building you a framework that at the end of today's session, and after the session, the Scalping Masterclass with Richard, you can be able to draw your own framework going forward. Now, before we continue, what are the controllables? Well, these two variables are the controllables, T and S, whereas E is the uncontrollable. Okay, and I'll be explaining. So E, the environment, is the uncontrollable. If you go surfing, you can practice all your jumps, all your hits, but given the swell, given the way the moon is bringing in swell, given the sandbanks, given the sandbank shifts, just like the markets, you can't control the environments, but you can have learned and navigated them before, and you can spot the subtle clues before you take the wave. So the tools, as I mentioned, you can go hunting for tools, but what are the Axia tools? Well, you know, many of you who've been following us for a while, well, there are multiple tools. You know, in this modern AI side, a lot of our traders are applying to their digital Evernote some large language models to learn their debriefs. So, you know, we do a session on that in our 6-month coaching program. But the profile, the DOM, the footprint, a news platform. We have an internal news platform that we provide all of our traders who come and join us on the 6-week career program, a proprietary news platform. But those are our main tools. And the main tools are for us to create that micro vision of the market, meta to micro. But now, more importantly, these tools operate. And I want to say that and stress that word again. Operate. They operate differently with certain skills. So how you deploy those tools are depending upon the skill area that you're trying to master. And we have 4 main. We sometimes strip that out to 5 main topics, but we abbreviate them. We have 4 main zones. How to trade technical structures of the market, a pure technician perspective, central bank and speakers, flow and data, so data, tier 1, non-farm payrolls, US, but all from the perspective of scalping. How are we scalping our technical patterns? How are we scalping when there's a central bank speaker? How are we scalping tier 1 data events? We did a workshop not that long ago that Reg gave another masterclass on how you can approach a tier 1 data event after the release. And news geopolitical risk, such as the Ukraine-Russian crisis, such as COVID, global financial crisis, and the recent Middle East. Now, what is your skill set? What is your level of skill in each of these domains? But your level of skill also changes depending on the environment that you're exposed to. So I'm going to now run you through a whole bunch of little frameworks that you can work with. And let me know, people in the chat, do I have you and your focus at the moment? Because this, I'm going to be running through now, and I'll be going at quite a pace. And I just want to know that you're in there, and I want, make sure that your phone is aside, make sure that you plugged in, because if you have been struggling, you've been struggling for a while, I want to change your whole perspective in this workshop. So the equation that solves traders' performance, and more importantly, solves your performance injuries and rehabilitates you back to life. Now, I'm going to be going a little bit deeper in each of these. I'm going to be graphically showing you some images. Now, let's now focus first on the E, the uncontrollable, but the one we can ride with the right approach. Now, this is to the exponential power law, okay, of the environment. So this is the input we're focusing on over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show a very simplistic, this can become much more complex. We evaluate that, we strip it down, we go through it in our 6-week career program, through all the 6 weeks, especially from week 4, 5, and 6 onwards. But a simple multi-environment representation with a continuous spectrum. From low volatility to high volatility, vice versa, the type of market, when VIX is high in a particular equity market, or the VIX is high in the bond market, or in the commodity market. And when markets are where there's low correlation and high correlation. So I just want to start with a very simple depiction. Because if I start with this, you can start building out from here. So now, depending on the environment you are currently faced with, will determine your timeline to profitability and the degree of profitability. Now, this is quite key because depending on where you land at the when you start learning trading, you could start learning something, arrive in the markets almost accidentally, where you're learning the right edge that syncs with the environment, and you can be profitable quite quickly. A lot of that is an accidental event. So let me just quickly describe you an environment that has high volatility and high correlation. Well, these are environments that our traders lick their lips for. High volatility, high correlation, not when the volatility becomes fragmented and broken and illiquid. That's when, markets, we almost had that in the gilt in 2022 after the other prime minister that didn't hold office for too long, broke the market. But our traders were still, it was the first time we had the most 6-figure trades on the team collectively on that day, 2022 September, on the UK budget speech. But the period between 2007 and 2012, then select periods, beginning of 2020, COVID, 21, Russia-Ukraine crisis, and the interest rate environment, okay? Sustained outlier environment. When you have a sustained outlier environment, you have outsized performance by skilled traders in this zone. Junior traders that arrive in this environment, in this quadrant over here, and they're situated right here, if you can see my little red comment, have a quicker path to P&L with a lower skill set. Junior traders, a quicker path to P&L with a lower skill set. And so your range and bandwidth of skill sets, you have to have a certain above average skill set to make good money. If your career, you've taught the right way, learned the right skills, and during this period, you could be a one market specialist. And that's what Richard's will be speaking about, about today with his scalping approach. And you could be a 7-figure trader. Whereas the period to 2013, 2017, if you were birthed here, man, it was a tough journey. This is where our industry was collapsing. The London prop industry was collapsing because what happened, you had this, all of a sudden, this violent change, a violent regime shift, where we had this heightened volatility, asset classes correlating. So, for example, global financial crisis, bank stocks are related to the equity markets. The bank stocks move. So that's what what I mean by correlation. They're moving to the bond markets, the commodity and gold market. All of a sudden, you get this violent regime shift as a product of all these central banks, and scalping strategies change. Certain order flow tactics that were bread and butter changed overnight. Completely changed. So when you had a sustained low volume environment, all of those so-called skillful traders in this environment who are unable to adapt, momentum breakout trades weren't working. Momentum scalps, certain front-running scalps weren't working. And the people who survived were only the snipers. Because any day that you lost, you took a big hit, there was not enough opportunity in the day to make your losses back. So you had to be a sniper. And so this was a long journey to profit without, unless you had an elite foundation. And so forced a skill set of high performance was required to survive. And this was the so-called Great Culling and the industry collapse. And that's where Axia unsettled the entire space. So what level of skill you need for the environments? I'm going to just give you, I'm pacing through and we'll put the whole picture together. I want to be focusing on this variable over here. Okay, we spoke about the time, giving you a little bit of a taste of E. We're going to come back to the environment in a moment. Remember, this is a product. This is a multiplier. These are multipliers of each other. Now, when an environment has a certain level of volatility, i.e. opportunity, the asset classes are correlating neatly with each other because there's generally a systemic theme going through the market. Well, your tool mastery, your skill level to make money in a news geopolitical heavy environment, your skill levels across these 4 edges that we train our people on the 6-week career program, well, you don't need to be at an elite level like in this zone. A 6 out of 10, a 5 out of a 10, a 6 out of a 10, and a 3 out of 10. In this environment, you don't really need any technical skill set. You need to have good order flow to really carve and harvest P&L out of the market. Whereas in this environment, low volatility, a little bit more fragmented markets, the correlations are dirty. Well, you need a significant higher skill level. And so to survive and thrive in this area is significantly more challenging. But the traders, we are blessed that we had a group of traders survive this 2013, 2015, that became the most holistic, most powerful futures traders on the planet because they were bred in the most arid and dry conditions. Because you just learn to find water in a very dry place, like the Bushmans in the Kalahari. And so this scale over here, your tool mastery, both your tool and your skill mastery is significantly less up here versus down here. And your order flow scalping patterns are significantly more dirty when the markets are low vol, a lot more algorithmic market making, HFT systems in place, whereas order flow becomes much more cleaner when the markets wake up, volatile market makers pull their orders, and the order flow becomes significantly purer. And so what you learn first in an environment is the most important, and understanding where to look and what to work on. Now, I wanted to give you, I'm just adding to this image and to this picture so you give yourself a framework, especially before Richard's scalping masterclass that's coming up shortly. Now, I want to look at the opportunity types and opportunity grade in these environments. Now, if you're at this area, and this is normally depicted by 2022, interest rates were moving up in 75 basis in the US, 50 basis in ECB, maybe 75, a few clips. In England, across the planet, interest rates were driving up. 2022, global financial crisis, 2007, to the European debt crisis, 2011, 12, and 13, to COVID, 2020. These environments, the opportunity, understanding news strategies, understanding the geopolitical landscape, the opportunity grade is 10 out of 10. If you understand this, you can make a normal year where you're making X, you can make 20, 30X of your normal year. Because that's what our traders were doing during those periods. And flow data events, Richard is, specialist in the space on data trading, on MOCs, auctions. Well, the opportunity is also unbelievable. It's an 8. Then you have the central banks. Now, you could argue, I mean, these are my gradings of opportunity. Now, this could move easily to 10 in this environment. It was certainly 10 in 2022. I'm just doing an aggregation over all of those periods. And the technical environment is also as opportunistic because breakout moves are pure. And so the opportunity type and opportunity grade, and so when you're learning these skill sets, you can really completely leverage. Now, let's just take the opposite. In an environment, so this is normally when you have a systemic environment. This is a so-called non-systemic environment, but regional volatility. So, for example, if something's going on in the UK and it's moving, our traders have made quite a bit of money over the last over the last few months, over the last few weeks on China, trading HSI, scalping the HSI, because the volatility has increased because the PBOC is intersecting in the bank. So it's not systemic, doesn't create global market asset correlations. So there's low correlations, but there's opportunity. This is the second most opportunistic environment for our traders. But what about in a stable, liquid, poor, auction week markets? Kind of where the central banks come in and they crush volatility. The world looks a little bit cleaner. Markets just start trending, but there's no two-way flow. Well, the opportunity set of news trading, you could be a 10 out of 10 news trader, but you're rarely going to have the opportunity because the opportunities are only a 1 out of 10. And so forth for flow data, central bank speakers, and technical. So these are the typical gradings of these environments. And so what do we do as a firm, or what do we do as a team? Is that across the scalping spectrum, across these 4 skill sets and the S skill in the equation, is you effectively just need to have a 6 out of 10 to take advantage of an opportunity environment that's giving you a lot of opportunity. You just need to be a 5 out of 10 on this skill level to take advantage of a flow environment that's offering you 8 out of 10 opportunity, and so forth and so forth. And so the converse is true. Now, you have to be, if you're trading this low volatile, low correlated environment, and the opportunity is only a 3 out of 10, in order to make money, you actually have to have a 9 out of 10 skill set. You'll have a 9 out of 10 skill set because you need that. If you're just a 7 or 6, you're not going to make money in this environment. You're not going to do well in this environment. If you're an 8 out of 10 in this skill set, and the opportunity is 1, it's really that one time that an opportunity comes in every 10 weeks, you really have to have a high level skill to take out that one opportunity. And so I want you to understand this connects between the different environments of opportunity, but what skills you need to have to extract opportunity in those environments. And as I mentioned, this is kind of, when you sit, sitting over here, when you have, down here, you have dirty flow, algorithmic, I call them an algo fest or algo orgies, where the algos are just eating each other. It's hard to read the order flow, the scalping environment. It can happen on individual markets, across markets. But what are we doing is, we had a workshop, about 2 workshops, or back in May. We are always grading our traders. Rich, during the program, is developing these skill sets. We're always grading our traders. Well, how good are you out of 10? And we have a system and a process. How good are you at 10 in the news environment? How good are you in the technical environment? This is all with relating to scalping being the bedrock, in the flow data. Now, if the environment is heavily news orientated, if it's heavily news orientated, it's a 10 opportunity, but you're only a 2 skill. Well, we have to have a process to improve this skill. We have to have a methodology to improve that skill. And so in this environment, when flow events are low volatile, normally the MOCs work well, the auctions work well. Now, if you're an 8 out of 10, you can actually do very well in this environment during those periods. And so just before I close off in the next couple of minutes and hand it over to the masterclass and hand it over to Richard, I wanted to make you understand, if all your skills remain constant, if you become an elite performer and you've done all the processes, all the practice, you benchmark on the Axia framework, and you become an 8 out of 10 in trading news, a 9 out of 10 on flow data events, and 9 out of 10 of understanding, and we give structures and frameworks for each one of these skill sets. During the 6-week career program, we give particular systems and processes to enhance each of these. But if all of these remain constant, but you're in an environment that's low volatility, fragmented, and broken and liquid, even though you've got all these skills, and this occurs very infrequently, once in a lifetime, then you don't make money regardless of your skill set. But if the environment is highly volatile, highly correlated, this is where you're making 20x. And so this is what I call the environmental P&L levers. A constant skill set, but the environment can determine. So if you are an individual, if you are wanting to become consistent and you move, is your ability, well, again, what we train on the 6-week pro, is your ability to spot the environment change across individual markets, multiple markets, in the entire systemic understanding of your Pacific market, you can shift gears incredibly quickly and incredibly fast. So if you arrive a trader on the floor who is in a team that is great at news trading and all he learns is news, and he arrives on day one on the Russian-Ukraine crisis, his accidental being in the right team, learning the right strategy, in the right environment, he can actually become profitable from month one. But in this environment, you actually need a lower skill set to thrive. Whereas over here, 2013, 2015, and part of every year we have moments in the months where it's low volatile. The correlations aren't as strong. And so you need a higher skill set to survive. Within a year, this is all fractal. I gave you big macro periods, but within a year, you can have high volatile, violent shift to low volatile, and you've made money for 1 or 2 months, your strategy, and all of a sudden you haven't been able to shift. You haven't been able to move through the regime shift, and you give back during those months, or you didn't do any nonlinear sizing during the good months. So in this environment, your order flow, your scalping game is ideal. Whereas in this environment, your technical game is key, as well as flow events. And so the most violent regime shift change, you need skill adaptation, needs to be the greatest. So from here to here, as opposed to from this environment to that environment. And you can have something that becomes more localized, like Iran and Gaza moves across and it starts becoming systemic, a Middle East crisis. Now, if Israel go and attack nuclear plants, big oil areas, and the Middle East breaks out, well, this then moves even in the highest scales of volatility. All of a sudden, the flow structures that we train our traders on our program, all of those become even more paramount and more powerful. And this is an example when we had, when I was trading the global financial crisis, you'd hear of one bank failing or something wrong with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the mortgage brokers, or something happening in Iceland. I think one of the first banks that failed was in Iceland, and it had, and so it was a single bank failure, and it was isolated. Then all of a sudden, it had a systemic influence, and everyone caught the same flu, and you had a global liquidity crisis and bank failures. And then what happens? Central banks step in, central bank intervention, QE, central bank response, big volatility sellers, which the central banks are, and then it becomes global stability by all these rescue packages. Okay, so you can see how it shifts, but during each shift, how have you navigated improving, adapting your skill sets as the opportunity sets do change? So here, most opportunistic for a certain constant skill set. Remember, this is a product of. Now, as you become an experienced trader, you could be a junior trader, but as an experienced trader, you want, in the most simple perspective, you want to have, from this chart, you want to have N to the 4. So 4 experience across 4 environments. And that's why sometimes you have to see cycles of the market. You need to survive your first year in the market. If you can survive 2 years in the market, and you capture and you understand, and you build a framework of identifying the environment, the skill sets are required to exploit that environment, the tools that you need that are optimal for that environment, well, then when the cycle comes back again, all you're doing is scaling, compounding your edge. And so it's time for you to solve your equation of performance in the market. And so this so-called pyramid of profitability, this is the equation. Although this equation, the equation is constant and universal with us at our firm. And whenever we tackle a trader, we bring up these skill report cards. We identify areas that they're struggling. We then look at a measure and a system of how they improve those skill sets. From technical trading, certain type of skill. So technical trading covers scalping, covers all the elements, as well as all the other edge skill zones. But although this remains constant and universal, each one of these do change and do evolve, and skill sets evolve and change. And so what is the adaptive and anti-fragile framework? And so we also have a creativity training that we do in order for you to navigate change, because even one environment can change its pattern and shape. And how do you keep ahead of that change? And that's what we do from on the program. And so we train you on how to deploy these tools across the four most important skill domains, which I explained earlier on. Okay, so that's me now. The exciting part is about to start. So I want to present Richard. Incredibly blessed to have him training, being our head of training for all of our traders. As I mentioned, there's no better trainer on the planet in the future space. So again, however you listen to me now, listen even more deeply if you want to take a lot of homework. So thank you for having me. Thank you for being in this workshop. And it was really great. And I'll be back for Q&As at the end. I know a bunch of questions were asked, so I'll be back and I'm going to hand it over to Richard. Okay, thanks.
Oh, thanks for the intro, Alex. It's a lovely little intro there. I'll take that. Interesting. Yeah, I really quite enjoyed that. To give a sort of personal example of that, I started in 2007 as a grad. 8 was the start of me going live, and it was a case of very little skill set. No one's got skills when they start off. Very little skill set, but in an environment of very high volatility, correlation, wonderful times to start to learn, because you could make mistakes and afford to get them back. I had to go through that period of evolution through 2012, 13, 14, 15. Don't get me wrong, it was not an enjoyable period. And like Alex said, you had this cull of traders, and part of the reason for that was, to be honest, ego. A lot of people just didn't feel that they needed to go and learn anything again. If you started in 2008, you've had 3, 4, 5 years of absolutely killing it from very, very little starting knowledge. It's quite hard to then go, well, do you know what? I don't actually know that much. Fortunately, I did adapt. I sort of spent a lot of time, investigating other sort of ways of trade and technical stuff. But ultimately, the origin of all of my trading was order flow, scalping, understanding a price ladder. So we're going to go and have a little look at that, hopefully to give yourselves just a little starting point, if nothing else. But what I'm also going to do is illustrate how scalping has changed. Let me do this by sharing my screen. Here we go. Right. Let's get to it then. Questions, of course, stick them in the question box. We can cover them at the end rather than me trying to answer bits and pieces of questions as we go through. Obviously, if it's super relevant, then I will cover it as they come up. Right then. So how has scalping changed, and what has it changed to now? Now, Alex kind of touched on this, that a lot of scalping early on, well, I say early on in my perspective at least, was effectively just finding simple tricks. Markets have become more and more and more efficient. Now, those simple tricks were just basic front running a large order. If you've tried front running large orders, you see lots of them in the S&P at the moment. These sort of 200, 300 lots around. A lot of them, you're not getting a consistent front run of them. So you then had to sort of adapt different tricks. But back in the day, if you will, Q position was a big thing. Traders would get in early in the morning to get to the front of Qs to nick one tick on a scalp. That game is disappearing as well. And we can all moan about it, and we can blame market makers and algos and all of the rest of it. But at the end of the day, this is natural evolution. Anything that makes money will eventually get crowded. As soon as someone realizes that, oh, you can do this and make money, someone else is going to pick up on it. Don't ever think that you are unique in something you've spotted. Just make the most of it whilst it's there and accept that it's going to change over time. And this is what happens. So that idea of just nicking ticks becomes an algo game because they're quicker at it. They can hedge as well at the same time. So they can nick the ticks that, I was doing when I first started off, nicking 1, 2 ticks or over and over, which means you adapt. Things change. Now, one of the big advantages that we've now got is market prices. Now, I'll come on to that in just a moment. But for me, whenever I explain scalping to anybody, I explain it more from the perspective of what I call a point-to-point trade. So this is not about nicking a tick here, watching a little patch of order flow. You need to understand order flow, but you're more moving from one area to the next. You're moving in zones, in little pockets That's what you're interested in. Now, these have become far more profitable. And I hate just saying, oh, these things are profitable as if, there's some magical profitable things. But the reason that these types of ideas have become more profitable is that ranges have widened. For example, the S&P, when I started, was trading sub 1,000. So a 1% move in the S&P was 10 big ticks. The S&P now will move 10 big ticks, 10 handles for fun on a 5-minute candle. Yeah, that could be a whole day when I first started. So what this suggests is that now you take a quick point-to-point scalp, you can take 5 big ticks in the S&P very, very quickly, which means now you have multiple opportunities to recycle that idea, to play that game again. This is particularly prevalent in equity markets, which have obviously risen even since COVID. We're up significantly. If you go back 15 years, we're 10x higher in the S&P and NASDAQ to where we were. I remember seeing the S&P trade 666. Precisely, the S&P moves 40 to 60 handles. 60 handles at the lows in 2009 was nearly a 10% move. You almost never saw it. So these things have changed. So what we're looking at then is short-term reversals. We're looking at the areas where markets are making decisions. So I'm going to give you an example of each. We're going to look at one in oil, and we're going to go and look at one in the S&P as well, and also understanding when to play these, because scalping is more nuanced now. It's not as simple as just watching the flow. It's about understanding when should you be doing this, but also having a bias. People are often afraid of having a bias. For me, you need a bias. You need to be able to say, this is what I want to do. I want to buy or I want to sell. That's crucial, because if you don't have that, you're never going to commit to a trade. So let's go and have a little look at point-to-point reversals. Now, what I'm looking at here is the way a reversal is actually constructed, the mechanics of a reversal. Now, I've kind of laid it out there in the sense that you make a low, you have a quick bounce, there's then a retake of a previous low, there's an element of consolidation as you find new buyers. There's a whole string of action that happens to create a full reversal. But what we're looking at is a situation where you already have a bias. So you're already, in this instance, looking for a buy. And what you're trying to do is capture part of that initial move. It does look a little bit like the S&P today. The S&P today is a whole different thing. I was actually going through this with one of our new traders earlier, the play off the open, but this is one for another time. So what I'm interested in then is not trying to capture the low and trying to play this huge swing all the way up here throughout the day. I'm not interested in that. As a scalp trade, I'm interested in what happens here that enables me to play this. There's your point to point, the move down here back to the previous lows. That's all I'm interested in. The reason that I'm interested in that is a reduction in variance. If you're playing for this, there are two outcomes. You go there and you get out for a winner, or you get stopped out. If you're playing for the big move, let's take out the entire range. If you're playing for that, well, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You get into here. This may not be a reversal. It may be a pullback and a continuation lower. So I'm not interested in that. From a scalper's perspective, I'm interested in what I call the meat of the move, the bit of the move that you can say, yes, this bit, I know that we're going to move from here to here. Crucial in doing this and key to being a good scalper is not then hoping for more, thinking, oh, I'm on side, maybe I'll stay in this one. The name of the game is banking these. You take that one, you take another trade, another trade, another trade, another trade. That's the bit that we're interested in. So what we're going to go and have a little look at is a trade in oil. Now, this is all about context. And the way that you find some of these trades is by a quick understanding of context. So scalping is less high frequency as perhaps it used to be, or what people perceive scalping to be. But it's just trying to find those clear little pockets of action. Now, this is a classic example of a day where you can be reasonably confident that you could call a high and a low of the day early on. I'm not going to go into the details as to how and why. That's a profile course type of question, and one that we will cover on the 6-week course always. So what I'm looking at then, this zone here from a profile effectively is giving you a move at around about here down to here. So what we're looking for is any move out of the current small range, your hourly chart, is a chance for a reversal, at least until we get below 74.75. So that's the bit that you're interested in. Absolutely, it is double distribution, fade the point of controls trade. So let's go and actually have a look at how exactly you play this, and then I'll show you the actual execution of it as well. Need to get rid of the pen. Here we go then. What we're looking at is this move. Now, the chart's not going to help you here. The chart illustrates what's happened. Wonderful. But nothing on this chart down here says buy. You get 2 red candles, 1 green candle. How do you buy that? Apart from just guessing a level or just placing a bid at 75, you don't know where it's going to stop. It may not reach 75, as it does not in this instance. So then you still don't get into the trade. So the key then is understanding the order flow, understanding where to get into for this trade and how you play this. For this, you need a price ladder, you need a footprint. So let me illustrate. Here we go. Right. So I'm going to show you the move down and then what I'm looking at on both the price ladder and the footprint. Now, those previous lows, if I just take you back over to the image here, the area that we're looking back to is this little red box here, which is 75.00 back up to around about 0809 area. Previous lows before this initial drop. I'm not looking for anything more. So if we bring back the ladders, let's go and see what exactly we are interested in. So here we go. Market starts to drop. Now, this is where it's really important to understand that your goal is to buy this. I'm not getting sucked in thinking, oh, it's going down. I want to sell, I want to sell, I want to sell. Until this breaks 75, and this is where context matters. Till it breaks 75, I don't want to be selling this. But what I do want to be doing is focusing on the way that we fall, where we get stuck on the fall around this 93 area. What happens on the footprint around there? You can see the lack of action above 95. So this is your kind of sticking point. You need to get over that to get this reversal. Still looking at 75 here as well. As you know, if we drop down there quick, I can have a go at buying 75. Interesting thing on the footprint now. You don't know this is going to happen. This is why I say you need to be able to read the footprint and the price ladder. Somebody is now starting to passively buy this down at 89. They try again at 85. This is giving you a sign that yes, there are buyers down here. They're only passive. To play that quick reverse, you need them to become more aggressive. So what I'm interested in now, I already want to buy this, but I'm looking at trade to get particularly back above where this volume is at 85 and 89, and then crucially to get through this 93 area. So it doesn't mean I'm trying to capture the low. What I'm trying to capture is the point where the sellers realize this is not going down anymore. And you saw that pace off the low there. That's your first little bit of a clue, but you need it to take that extra step to say to you, yes, now we've got that chance to go. And that's all about getting through this 93 zone. So we've got there, it is sticking. It's a nervous moment, but crucially, once you get through 95, this is that meat of the move bit. I expect that when I get through 95, this is going to move very quickly straight back to that 00 and 0809 area. That's the trade. So a scalp is changing from what used to be nicking 1 tick, 2 ticks. We're now nicking 16, 17 ticks. Yes, it's not huge numbers of ticks, but if you can do this on 3 lots, 5 lots, 10 lots, in oil, in S&P, in gold, in any number of markets on a day, all of a sudden you've racked up quite a bit. And it's just by finding these little specific trades. It's understanding the context. It's understanding also that oil's in an environment where, well, let's face it, it's pretty bullish. Do you really want to be short oil with the Middle Eastern tensions out there? Probably not. Certainly not on the day that this happened, at least. So this is the stuff that you're interested in. It's being able to just nick those little bits. I'm not looking for anything more than this. I'm not going hunting for, saying, oh, this is the low of the day. It was the low of the day. But that's not my thought at the time. My thought is capturing that quick scalp back up. That's the bit that I'm interested in. You're back up there, you've got the 7s, 8s, and you're out of the trade. There's no need to be going looking for anything more here. Move on, work out where your next scalping opportunity is. And that's what we're going to come to next. So that's your point-to-point reversal. The other area that you get to scalp nowadays is decision zones. Let me give you a little example. This is in the same day. So you follow on from this, and we're looking at a decision zone in oil, or I'll give an example of that, and then we're going to look at one in the S&P, quick decision zone. Question on, are there any traders who successfully trade NASDAQ at Axia? Yes. We've got a couple of people who are often very, very involved in NASDAQ as one of their core markets. But decision zones are all about the battle between buyers and sellers and seeing that happening. So what I'm interested in these is after you get some directional movement, so the market rushes higher, rushes lower, it takes a moment. What you need for this to keep going is more buyers. If it's to reverse, you're going to get sellers reacting to that and pushing the market back down. So for a short period of time, and this is the difficult bit, you don't know how long this period of time is, so you have to work it out quickly, which may well mean, and I'll give you an example in the S&P, that you actually take a loss or two in there. That's fine. I've talked about scalping before and the equity in scalping. And the way that people perform when they're scalping is about taking multiple trades, because by taking multiple trades, you will then hit streaks of winners. You recognize when you're wrong, get out, work out where the new little zone is. That's the bit that we're interested in here. Again, key to this is pick a direction. What you don't want to do is play both sides, because it's very easy. Let's say if you were generally thinking this market is going higher, to then buy down here, and if you're then trying to go short on it as well, if we do this, you could then end up getting out of your short, possibly going long, only to see it roll back. I think it's a far easier thing to do to say, no, this is the way I'm looking, this is my bias, and I'm playing for that. So you play long out, long out until we move away from that zone. So let's go and have a little look at an example of this one. This is that oil trade that we just looked at. So we just looked at the reversal from the low. Now, as you break the initial balance high, you've got this decision. Is the market going to continue higher, or are we going to reverse away? Now, context-wise, we are right up here. You could very easily argue this is a chance to be short. With the recent direction, you could play this either way. I don't think it matters which way you play it, as long as you pick your direction. So this is, again, something that's so useful with scalping. You don't have to get the direction right on a big scale. You have to get the direction right for the period that you're trading. So what we're going to go and have a little look at then is a little one in the S&P. I think probably most people's favorite market. I see a fair few sort of questions coming in. I can try and cover all of these in a little while, or we'll cover some of them for you at least. Right, let's go and have a little look at the S&P one then. This is a very, very fast one. So these environment-wise, short-term environment-wise, sudden bursts of volatility, data, these are the times where you can exercise this type of skill. It's, again, something people say, oh no, there's data, there's volatility, I want to stay away from it. You can find a lot of ticks repetitively just after data points. Key is waiting for the market to settle and understanding what you want to do with it. Right, let's go and have a little look at this example. Where we're looking for is the break out of this range. So you've got this high at 70, you've got another high at 73, you then got a high up here at 84. This was on a day, this is on an hourly, so these are highs across 3 days. What we're interested in is this bit of action just in here. So it's only about 3 minutes worth of trade, but there's a lot that you can do in 3 minutes. Let's go and have a little look. Right, here we go. Okay, so this is non-farm payrolls in the S&P. Footprint is really, really useful in this situation because what it allows you to do is very quickly establish the ranges that the market's trading in and among all of that volatility. So we go and get on with this one. Here we go. Right, you'll see the data here. The footprint goes bananas, right? Straight away, you're looking at this. If you are a scalper, you don't need to be getting overly involved in here. We've just seen it trade up into the mid 80s. We've also seen it rush back down towards 70. So I get a bid in at 70. What I'm really looking for is this to start getting a bit thicker. You start to see this now. We're starting to see more trade. You can see that we're at the top of this recent move. So quick offer at 84.25. I'm looking then down towards these recent pullbacks, which is around 77. Out of the trade. Job done. That's one trade done. The marker that you put in down at 70 is a useful one because this now is giving you the chance to go, okay, 70 is a point I'm interested in if we flick down there. What I'm then looking for is to try and work out where these ranges are establishing. You can see that we've got this sort of little pocket of volume, again, that high volume, somebody absorbing it at 75. So this is the reason to get a bid in there. You see that quick flick, touches it and bounce. From this, what I'm looking for then is movement back up towards this sort of 81, 82 area. So you're looking for the move up there. We then end up with a large order. We push down again through 75 towards 73. This is the point where you go, okay, I'm going to get out of that. Not every scalp's going to work. This is not about going, oh, I'm going to get this money and this money and this money and this money. You've just been given some information there. 75 would appear to not be the bottom of the range. So we've got that 70. Look, we've got another 100 absorbs down here. So now very quickly, you're trying to establish this range. The midpoint of the range now is in fact that 75 area. So that's the place to get your offers in. Get another bid down towards 70. Remember, this was the top of that hourly range as well. So you can feel reasonably confident contextually, but also we've seen it now drop down there. You've got that bid down there at 70 as well, or that bid that was filled. So you can see a willingness. So very quick, back up, you're out at 76, 77. We've now established direction here. Overall, the data suggests that potentially we could be going up. There's an attempt to sell here. Probably not the greatest idea. You're kind of, in a sense, almost just the middle of the range. It's a bit of a dangerous one. If you're playing a trade like that, be willing to get out quickly and you're looking for less on these. Personally, not a big fan of it, but occasionally you get that kind of opportunity to try and nick something. But really, I'm looking down to sort of where the bottom of these recent ranges are coming. So giving it up around 74, willing then to just move that bid up. So we drop down a little bit further. Now that we've settled down, this is 2-3 minutes after the data now, we've settled. You can now be a little bit wider in the areas that you're looking to scalp. You're trying to play the move back down, collect at 69.70. Again, you see the same, drops down straight away, another 75, resting on the bid at 70. Somebody really wants to buy it down here. So I'm using that information to then, again, not playing for anything spectacular, not trying to find huge directional movement. We're just looking back towards now 76, the top of that recent move. This is your point-to-point trade. I'm not going to try and play for the break of 76 and continuation. I'm playing back to 76. The fact that it's stalling around 74, willing to give something up there, looking once more up towards 76. That's what I mean by point-to-point scalping. But The advantage here is that we're getting those much bigger moves. I talked about earlier, 10 points in the S&P being a 1% move, a pretty decent sized day. You've just seen this do 10 up and down, or at least 6 sevens up and down, up and down. You can collect those. And this has been 4 minutes. We've taken a fair few trades, up, down, up, down. I think it's netted approximately $1,800. Just trading ones and two lots. Just finding those little areas to scalp. This is a classic of my sort of favorite scalps, where you get this splash down. You see it on the footprint there, all selling. If this doesn't push on, you can then get a bid in and try and buy this just back to where it came from. So this is your very sort of quick point-to-point scalp, 73, 76, in, out, and you leave that one alone. But as I said before, the key bit to scalping is not looking for more. I saw someone asking about, would you leave a runner? No, I don't want to be leaving runners. If I leave a runner, it's going to take away from my ability to then start taking more and more and more trades. I could buy 70 and leave a runner and sit through the wash up and down. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be in, I want to be out. Move on. In, out, move on. You can take multiple trades. That way, you're going to find streaks of direction rather than trying to carry a runner. So there we have it. 2 different ways to scalp. Short-term reversals, just playing that point back to where the previous break came from, and then decision zone scalping, establishing those ranges quickly, playing the up and down momentum of those. So there we have it. 2 ways to scalp. Overlay that over the environments that Alex discussed, and you're starting to get yourself to building up the picture of everything that you need. I'll wrap it up there from me. We will be available for questions. So I'll bring the other guys in and we'll touch on some questions in a little while. See you in a bit.
Cool. Thanks, Richard. So as you're watching this, I'll let you know that we will come back for some Q&A time. I'm going to have Alex and Richard. So get your questions into the Q&A area. There's a little box that you can enter questions into. So what I'm going to do is, if you're thinking right now, like, I'm completely new to trading, can I really do this? Let me tell you, being new is actually a really big advantage. If you just actually, before I go on, just give me a yes in the chat if you can see my screen. See my screen? Just give me a quick yes. All right, Thomas, Raj, Stephen. Okay, loads of yeses. Awesome, guys. So let me recap what I was saying. So if you're thinking, is this stuff you can really do? Like, you've been watching Richard trade there. Is this something that is actually within your realm of possibility? Maybe you're new and you're thinking that it's a lot to tackle. Well, being new is a really big advantage. When you first learned how to read or write when you were a kid, that was all new, but you had the right guidance and then eventually mastered it. And similar with the training we design at Axia, it's to guide you step by step and build your skills from the ground up. Now, in this workshop, we attempt to gear you with some quick skill stuff that you can walk away with and start applying. But if you're completely new, that also means that you have a fresh slate. And one of these workshops isn't going to be enough to really skill you up with everything that you need. But one of the benefits of being new is that you don't have any bad habits to unlearn. So if you start training with Axia, you come on board with us, we can help you develop the right trading habits from day one. Many of our most successful traders started exactly where you are right now. And if you are new, you're in the perfect position to start your trading career on the right foot. And also, if you're already an experienced trader, even seasoned traders find immense value in our training, because what we teach is geared specifically for professional prop firms and is modeled on the practices of elite successful traders. So if you're someone who not only wants support on your journey to trading full-time, but also a complete framework of the best practices and strategies that have been modeled on a team of top performing traders in our floors in London, Cyprus, Poland, the other floors we have opening in Bahamas, Greece, we've got a full remote team as well. Then I'm going to take 15 minutes to just tell you about how you can do that, and a special promo that we have available that you can access to enter our training at a huge discounted rate. So our flagship training is a 6-week career program. It reveals in specific step-by-step detail every best practice in trading that has been observed on our floors in London, Cyprus, and Poland. And it's streamed live from our training room here in London, where Richard is right now. It's the same training that's given to all of the traders who we recruit for financial backing. So it's also in our interest to give you the best training possible, because our proprietary arm looks to back traders who first complete this program. So week one, it's all about building a solid foundation in the world of futures and prop trading. So everything you learn here is about fundamental principles, what you need to constantly grow and improve over time, just giving everyone the same language so that everyone can communicate with the basic terms of technical analysis and so on. From there, it gears up pretty quickly. We start learning about things like market profiles, which is our main idea generation tool used for uncovering top trading setups and really understanding what type of market environment you're in. Are you in a balanced type of market range, or are you in a trending type of market? So there's all sorts of patterns that we teach you to observe in here. And this helps you identify structures that lead to asymmetric opportunities, gives you contextual understanding of whether or not the market is balanced or has scope to move. And it helps you identify those key levels of where you should be, what type of scalping opportunities you can be looking out for. And applying market profiles to your trading is a major step towards achieving more consistent results. And then week 3 covers order flow trading for efficient timing of your trade executions. And once you know that you want to be involved in a trade and looking for certain type of scalping strategies, order flow, as you've just seen, is the purest way to execute those trades. So we teach you how to watch for those patterns that Richard was just trading right now, such as the shifts in market velocity, seeing when a market is starting to slow down, when it's starting to stabilize. You're seeing those big orders come into the market. So we teach you everything from the basics all the way up to learning how to read order flow in a way that develops edge and puts your trades on the same side as our elite traders. And then week 4 is a really powerful one, and it's here we're exposed to macro trading principles. Now, this is the advanced part of understanding the narrative within the current market. So not only are you going to be able to find and execute trades on what you've already understood from the prior weeks, but now you're opening up a whole new edge area, which is macro trading, and where the Axia team has a unique edge, and it's what launched the company on the eve of Brexit. Many of our traders have their biggest trades in this one area alone. So it's really a crucial edge area that you should be developing, especially if you're someone who's been told to shy away from news trading, or if there's anything high impact coming out. We say this is a key area of development where you should be focusing on. And you can see the results speak for themselves. These are some equity curves of some of our traders who have a massive edge in just this one area. And then from week 5, it's about how you consistently improve and develop as a trader over time. So once you have a framework from the prior weeks, you've learned the building blocks, the Axia method, then it becomes about having a process to continually make marginal improvements every day, every week, every month. So you learn how to build your own strategies in different market environments and how to continue adapting and thriving throughout your career. And then week 6 takes you through the benchmarking process where, so Richard, he has access to risk screens. He can see the trades that traders on the floors across the firm are entering at any one time. And this helps make the learning that you're accumulating more real and visceral for you, and helps put your learnings into practical markets. So you'll become aware of the trades that traders in our team are taking on, how they're executing and managing themselves. So you can start embodying similar thoughts and behaviors, learning about these trades, routines, and processes, and start applying to your own trading. And then during the 6 weeks, you receive access to software. So we give you software to set up your ladders, your charts. So you don't have to worry about buying any of that. You also get your market data, and we give you templates that you can use to upload and start looking at markets in the same way as our traders. And then, as I said, this is the same training that's used to train and develop our team, and everything you learn is exactly what our prop arm uses to source talent for our desks. The next training starts on the 21st of October, this coming Monday. So it's literally in 4 weeks, we have a new cohort kicking off in the 6-week training. It's streamed live. There's an interactive chat with Richard. All sessions are recorded and uploaded. In case you're not able to watch any of the sessions live, you can always catch up at your own pace. So that means no matter where you are in the world, what time zone you're in, if you're working a full-time job, this training is very available and open to you to go through. You can ask questions, have them answered in the very next session. And the live sessions run from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, and then again from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So here are some comments that from a recent career program. Sandro says, been a brilliant few weeks. Roland says, Richard's the best trading teacher he's had. I'm sure you would agree after seeing Richard just present on the order flow patterns that we just watched now and how he was trading those setups. Brad says it's been phenomenal, and still even more bits of positive feedback that we always love receiving and reading. So to talk about price, what is the price to gain access to this training? Well, you can see that the value is really high, and there aren't many quality alternatives out there from real trading floors. And our goal as a trading team is to first help home-based traders escape many of the false promises and misinformation out there in the market, and to find and hire talented traders to grow our team. So when we find strong trading talent, there's a lot of upside for us. So we're happy to offer this training at a much cheaper rate than you typically find elsewhere. So the career program is not £10,000, £7,000, or even £5,000. Right now on our website, if you go to axifutures.com, you can find this training program for £3,490. But for taking the time to tune in today for today's workshop, we're going to give you a big discount and take this regular price of £3,490 and discount it all the way down to just £1,797. So that's close to a 50% discount off the regular price on our website, plus gives you full access to the entire program. Plus, we're including a 4-part installment plan to make this even more accessible. So to gain access to that deal right now, you can sign up at axifutures.com/start. So I'll just drop the link in the chat there. I also want to acknowledge something else that's important. You know, there's a good chance that maybe you've already tried various trading courses out there and trainings in the past that didn't work out. And you might be thinking, you know, how is this going to be any different? And that's a valid question to ask. And I understand that you might be feeling that way because those past attempts that you made may not have delivered the results you wanted, because you didn't have access to real traders with real skin in the game. You didn't receive step training that's been proven to develop successful professional traders. And you probably lack the support and community that's crucial for your growth. So no wonder you struggled. Anyone would have under those conditions. But with our program, you get all of that and more. You're learning and using the same training that's developed and has been modeled on multiple 7- and 8-figure traders. And this really is a game changer. And it's time for you to experience that difference by registering for the next training that starts this coming Monday on the 21st of August. And to make sure you have the right conditions under which to succeed, we've included some of these special bonuses to really help make that possible for you. So we have the 6-week career program, which starts on Monday. And you probably want to learn even more about some of these tools like the price data, market profile, and footprint, right? So we're giving you any one of our 3 Axia Edge courses free with a value of £1,200. Again, these are found on our website. So we've got our price data course, our volume profile course, and our footprint course. And the price ladder course takes you from complete beginner to some of the advanced strategies that are used by our top traders, strategies that are applicable for many different types of market environments, strategies that are more like Alex mentioned about those algo orgy type of markets when it's just low volatility, low correlation. And these order flow patterns are designed to help you succeed in those environments. It's a full training into everything that you don't see on the charts. Things like absorption, flipping, spoofing, and a whole lot more. Comes to over 20 order flow tactics and strategies to help you get in and out of trades at the exact right times. You learn how to see opportunities developing ahead of the chart, how to increase your size and scale up as you become a bigger trader. Plus, it comes with interviews, replay drills, interviews with traders. And this is one of the trainings that students rate to be one of the most valuable Axia Edge courses that's available. For Kim, she says one of the best courses she's ever taken. Amida and Danny say the same. Now a really valuable bonus for you, absolutely free. If you were to take any one of those Edge courses, personally, my favorite is the price ladder. The next one we have available is the volume profiling course. This has 11 profile strategies. As mentioned earlier, this is the tool that helps our traders pinpoint asymmetric trading opportunities that you'll never read or hear about from any trading book out there. And over the years, our traders have collected all sorts of nuanced patterns and strategies that put the market profile at the heart of their discretionary edge to make better trading decisions and achieve profitability. And then you have the footprint course, where you learn 10 unique footprint strategies. So you become empowered by seeing inside the market, inside of the candlestick, so you can focus on the strong, high probability setups. I mean, you saw when Richard was executing those trades and replaying them, you could see that the footprint just helps you really visualize when a market becomes more stable and chunkier orders start going through and things are starting to get traded out more. So you'll learn how to read the interaction between buyers and sellers in a way that makes you more objective in your decision making, helps you execute and leverage up your strategies with greater confidence. And that is what we have available for you right there. So that's the price setter course, the market profile course, or the footprint course. Any one of those, absolutely free. So that's now the career program, any one of our 3 Edge courses, but we're not stopping there. We're also including our foundational futures traders development course. This is an 8-day fast start course. Takes you from complete beginner. So if you're someone who really needs a strong foundation, you feel like you just need something quick and easy to get through, there's an 8-day fast start course. This can also be treated as a refresher after the career program. It takes you from those beginner, strong foundation elements to teaching you a few things that only veteran futures traders know to observe and capitalize on. Things like bond auctions, or unique trades when options and futures contracts expire, a whole lot more. And that is included. But we're not stopping there also. We're going to give you the fast track footprint training course. So whether or not you want to go with the footprint course as one of your Edge courses, or if you want to choose something else, we're making sure you have a fast track to start using this tool. This has 3 workshops that help you become competent using the footprint tool in 6 hours or less. You learn how to see inside the market, identify those weak, avoid those weak, costly trades, and identify higher probability setups. This alone has 9 detailed strategies for different market environments. And it includes Q&A sessions and gives you everything you need to get up and running using the footprint tool in the shortest time possible. So we've got those bonuses now. You can do the intro course. You've got any one of those Edge courses. You can then go through the career program. But what about when the career program and all your training is over? What kind of post support do you get after the training? So if you want to continue your developmental path, this is something that really differentiates a professional trading floor from many of the gurus and educators you find online, is that we've seen what the next steps are. So to help you get out and have that next few months of your career defined, you get 3 months of access to our daily live streams. This helps you with your prep every day. As you start putting things into practice, you don't just roll out of bed and start trading. You need to learn how to spot opportunity and train your eyes with real current market examples. And it can sometimes get a bit lonely trading at home all alone. So this gives you a place where you can connect to the Axie community while having your own proprietary research team behind you, helping you save time and focus in the right areas of the market to attack great trading setups. These all are recorded and uploaded in case you're not able to attend any of them live. We often have a few streams a day. So that now includes 3 months of premium streaming. But what if we could give you something like an elite level mentor, someone you could hear from directly who consistently makes 7 figures himself, someone that you can look up to, who can act as a role model for you to emulate. So we're going to give you a 7-part workshop series with an elite Axie trader. It's a rare look inside the mind of an elite trader so you can model his thought processes and experience the next best thing to being mentored by a pro trader. You'll learn the approach that took him 7 years to develop and trains your eyes in the same way as him to find massive opportunities that just aren't observable and often hidden in plain sight. So these also come with specific order flow strategies to leverage up your trades when the odds are in your favor. It's really like being taken under the wing and given personal instruction from a 7-figure trader himself. He's an excellent role model for traders on our desks. And now for you, to become the best, you need to learn from the best. And that's exactly what this bonus delivers. So now you get to experience what it's like learning from an elite level trader. But what if we wanted to go even one better than that? How can we make sure that after you've gone through the career program, you're actively applying what you've learned and are growing while you're trading? Well, we're going to give you the 16-part Inner Circle coaching series. This is effectively 4 months of coaching with a team of elite performers to help motivate, inspire, and train you to think like a world-class trader. You'll see how traders in our team come together to find big plays each week, continually improve, and learn elite level psychology. And this will treat any weak areas in your game sooner than leaving it for later. And when you hear from world-class traders in our team who, the way they think about trading, opportunity, and success really changes the way you start thinking about those things. And where else is it possible to sit in on an elite trading team's personal coaching and learn how to think like them? So then we have something even more special that is being released. This is a software that we've been working on quietly. It's called Delta One, the Axia Delta One app. It's an ultra-fast news platform with real-time Reuters feed. So Axia's own proprietary filtering system is built into this, and this shows you what headlines that traders in our team are actually looking at right now. Plus, it has an AI news reader built into it. So why this is so amazing is that it means you don't need an expensive news terminal like Reuters or Bloomberg. You can get market news from multiple feeds all on the same screen and be among the first to execute on high impact news with keywords that are moving markets highlighted according to the colors and what our traders are actually using on our desks. So you can use the same filters and keyword highlights used by Axia traders to signal to you whether to go long or short based on highlighted headlines that come out. And it saves you time on having to do the research and figuring out what the narratives are in markets and what is actually moving markets based on headlines. And you also don't have to pay £24,000 for a Bloomberg or Reuters subscription, because what these high-level platforms really cost you. You don't have to pay for a desk fee either to actually sit on the floor and ask traders what's going on and be there to understand and then learn how to set the stuff for yourself. You get access to the exact highlights that are used by 7- and 8-figure traders in our team, free for the duration of the career program. Then there's another new launch that's just come out. It's the creativity training that Alex mentioned. It's a 3-part anti-fragile creativity training, which is an intensive program designed to enhance your own creativity and transform how you uncover opportunity. So you'll learn advanced techniques and exercises to change how you observe markets every day, and then are logging the patterns that you see. And this is led by a world-class expert in creativity training called Angus Fletcher. He consults to the US Special Forces. And this training unlocks new ways of thinking and gives you a creative process used by elite level units, in the US Special Forces, but now applying this to trading. And the focus is exactly how you start building your own unique edge in markets and using your human gifts for creative thinking and develop more innovative and adaptive approaches to your trading strategies. So then we teach you this at a later point, but how you enhance this with AI, which you'll see in just a minute. So in this training, you'll see and follow along as Axia traders learn and apply these exercises, see as successful traders apply processes to reverse engineer their accidental successes. So that's an important thing, is that when you stumble upon something that works, is knowing how to uncover the root cause of what made you successful. And that's addressed in this training. So you'll see a mix of theoretical and practical approaches in this training and so much more. And imagine just every day that you're trading, leaving with at least one new trading idea, breaking out from the same old trading approach, talk to every retail trader out there, going after uncrowded trading strategies that are unique to you and your unique trading edge. So that now includes our creativity training. We also have our AI hybrid trader workshop. Now, this is a 7-part intro on how to backtest your trading ideas without any coding skills, taking a few market observations and quickly developing a trading edge. So this is the ability to use AI to backtest like a veteran quant trader. And what's cool about this is it shortcuts the path to acquiring quant trading skills. You quickly realize deeper insights in markets by backtesting some of the observations you make, learning how to export your market data, and then uncovering your human edge. So all the creativity training that you're doing and like the observations that you're making, you're learning how to quantify that and then communicate that to an AI to help you see how often that pattern actually repeats itself. And when you identify patterns in market data on specific trading days, you learn how to quantify observations and get a list of battle-tested prompts that our traders use to backtest the ideas that they uncover. Imagine the power to quickly backtest and build your strategy playbook without code, no longer missing out on trading opportunities, not being left behind like the old pit traders back in the day who failed to adapt, and join a team that involves in every market cycle. So to summarize that's a 6-week online training, the same training used to develop a team of proven 7-figure traders, 6 weeks of access to our trading platforms, any one of our edge courses, the Futures Trader Development course, so you can have an 8-day fast start intro to trading, the fast track footprint training, 3 months of access to our daily live streams, the 7-part lead trader training workshop series, the 16-part Inner Circle coaching series, our Delta One software that's been internally developed, our creativity training, our hybrid trader training. The total value of that we've conservatively estimated at just under £15,000. I'm sure you can see how that is a very conservative estimate of the true value that you're gaining here. And that's all included today when you're enrolled, to give you the best support possible in your development, and really to make this a no-brainer decision for you, that this is the type of support that you're getting that's going to make your career endeavors more achievable. And if that was just a 6-week career program that was being offered today, that's almost a 50% discount from the normal price that's on our website. And I understand that investing in yourself can maybe feel daunting, especially if time and money are tight. But let's consider the cost of inaction and not doing something different. How much has not having a solid trading approach already cost you? How much has it cost you in missed opportunities, in time wasted on strategies that maybe don't work, in frustration and stress? Doing nothing doesn't keep you where you are. It actually sets you back. Every day that you delay is a day that you're not moving forward on your goals. But for a modest investment today, you can start transforming your trading career and set yourself up on a path to consistent profitability. Isn't that worth it? Now, this is a note for the editor to just cut this part out of the recording, because what I'm going to say now is just for those who are here live with us. There's 2 more fast action bonuses that are only available when you sign up during the remainder of this webinar. And it's for the first 15 people who register, because as you'll see in our second fast action bonus, you get hands-on support. And while we'd love to offer this to everyone, we can only offer this to a few people. So for our first bonus, imagine you had a teammate, someone you knew who was going to achieve 7 figures, and you were sitting next to them, and you could see what was working for them. You'd probably pay very close attention to what they were doing. Well, if you sign up today, you get access to the entire documented journey of a price ladder trader, going from trading just 3 lots to putting on positions of 300 lots. It includes live trading videos with this trader's personal commentary and analysis of his trading. You'll hear his thought processes, the questions he asks himself while executing and managing trades. It's a blow-by-blow account of how a junior trader transformed into a 7-figure trader over a period of 18 months. And the purpose of this is for you to see how you can grow alongside him, model his success, and understand the path of a budding 7-figure trader. Comes with 81 videos over 20 hours of footage. You'll also see one of his biggest days where he makes over $100,000. And then fast action bonus number 2 is access to company funding. Now, if you're like most independent traders out there, one of the biggest obstacles to really making it in the market is your lack of trading capital and not having a big enough account to trade profitably. And that's where we come in. After you finish the training and you learn the drills and strategies, then you'll have an opportunity to prove yourself in order to receive financial backing. And you'll be placed on our proprietary funding program with no charge for evaluation. And then that'll be a 1-month evaluation period. And if qualifying, you'll get a place on our Axia team, either in-house or remotely, following the same funding trial that's taken by our internal traders, which is designed to stress test your skill sets and uncovers any blind spots in your performance. And we've never before made it this easy to get interviewed by us and potentially funded. And that's one of the best bonuses that's available when you enroll in the trading program before the deadline. Okay, so this is a note for the editor to resume here. If you have any questions real quick that you want to ask about those, I'll give you 5 seconds to type them into the chat. So the deadline, Ralph, for the fast action bonus is tonight, 12 p.m. midnight UK time. So you'll see there's a few hours ahead. If you go to the checkout page, axiafutures.com/start, then you'll be able to access the page right there. So that's appearing right here on the link. So you get access to the 6-week training, all of the bonuses combined. And what I'm going to do is I have dropped the link in the chat. Just give me a second. I'll drop it again. And what I'm going to do is if you click on that link and open it up, it'll take you to a page. So I'm going to do it along with you just so everything is clear and makes sense. But what you're going to see on this page is the list of bonuses. 2 options here. You can either go 1 installment or 4 parts. The program starts on the 21st of October. You can choose any one of the Edge courses that you would like. If you're going to go with one, you find some advice, I recommend the Price Ladder and Order Flow Strategies course, because everything starts from order flow and builds up from there. You have 5 hours until the fast action bonus is no longer available. And to add that to your cart, you just need to check this box, and that makes sure that it is added. After this timer expires, then this timer becomes the one to pay attention to, and that is set to expire at Sunday midnight, this coming Sunday. So you've got just over 3 days, and because that is when the career program kicks off. And if you want to join at a later date, then you'll need to come to the Axie Futures website, come to our trader training area, go over to our career program page, and then register at the regular price, which is over here. So this will be the place where you'd register in the future, and that won't include the bonuses that are available today. If you want to listen to some experiences students have had, we've got these videos. I highly recommend watching these 3, because these were students who were having massive breakouts in their careers at the time, and you can hear about their experiences and what it took for them to get there. And then there's a few more frequently asked questions, such as the time schedule of the program, anything about software. You do not need to pay for anything yourself. We provide everything for you during the program. There's also a few more questions there. And you just need to fill out your details. Make sure you check the box for the fast action bonus, and that's it. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat, and there'll be an opportunity to come back to those. I see there are some questions in the chat already, so we'll come back to those. But you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, this thing starts on Monday. Maybe you need to think it over. You're going to think over it during the weekend, and that's completely natural. But let me ask you this: how often has thinking it over led to meaningful change in your life? Sometimes overthinking can lead to missed opportunities. Instead of thinking it over, I invite you to feel it over. Trust your instincts. Does this opportunity feel right to you? Do you feel excited about the possibilities? Does your gut give you a powerful feeling? Don't let overthinking hold you back. Take action and join us this coming Monday. And consider the alternatives of what you may invest your funds in. Invest is really the right way of thinking about this. People get paid every few weeks. They cover their fixed costs in life. Anything left over is often treated as disposable income. It gets blown on things like fast food, coffee, clothes, short-term pleasures that are gone in an instant. Most people spend cash on costs, things that don't add value to their lives in a meaningful way. But if you want to get to the next level in your trading career, you need to invest in products and services that actually help you progress and achieve your goals. And that's what we've put together for you here today. Another alternative is to spend possibly years of your time trying to figure out how to do this stuff by yourself. And while you might succeed, you never get your time back. Instead, you could save time and effort, because we've already done the work for you. We've worked with traders, we've mapped out the path, and it'll cost you in the short term to work with us, but over time, money replenishes. Whereas your time away from friends, family, and other pursuits while you're trying to figure out how to do this by yourself, it's maybe even wasted effort. Alternatively, you can enroll now and get a head start. Okay, so we're going to take some time to go through Q&A. If you have any questions, you can pop them into the chat. We'll monitor the Q&A box, and we'll start addressing this. So if Alex and Richard are still there, then they can hop on as well, and we'll start hammering out some questions.
Thank you, Craig. Yeah, and so excited for the new, always incredibly excited when there's a new cohort, a new session starting this Monday. And well, on that page, our normal page for the training program, all those testimonials, that person in the middle, top middle, just looking at him today. So he's been trading 6E, ES, so S&P, gold, copper, NQ, He's actually on our desk here in Cyprus, ZT, Bunds, Schatz, Oats, and he traded the Hong Kong index this morning. Some Chinese news of the guys came, and he actually had a 10K plus day, and he's had a journey. I mean, it's a journey. That gentleman, yes, there in the pink shirt in the middle top. A really great day. Went through the program, went under Richard's tutelage, which has been instrumental in his growth and his development. And it's just so wonderful to see when you see someone commit to their path, commit to the training, commit to themselves, and you see that evolution. And it's been, he's gone on his walkabout, he's gone on his journey, and now starting to see where he now, is on his path of putting those, 5-figure days and starting to push boundaries, and super exciting of his future at Axia in Cyprus. So yeah, happy to go to the questions. Sorry, there's just one question that I see happening a few times with regards to the courses to select, the footprint, price ladder. Just to let you know, the courses all get updated. They're in those in the training, in that on-demand training of our 3 main primary tools. Richard is, he's our resin guru. He updates those programs. He makes sure that they are relevant. But we have many universal principles, almost so-called evergreen frameworks of how you approach the market that don't change. But the examples we update, it's just been updated over the past year. And it's lifetime access. So you actually gain access to all future upgrades of the training of any one of those edge courses. So just to let you know. With regard, okay, so questions. I think we've got a whole bunch of questions. So I don't know, Reg, is there anyone that stood out to you? And I will also go through the questions.
I did see a question around does
Richard, your mic.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. There we go. Bring the mic down. Does what we teach apply to software, or does it apply to certain markets? Everything that we do in any of our training, it's a principle, right? So if you're looking at a reversal play, if you're looking at a scalp, if you're looking at a momentum play, it doesn't matter what market you're applying it to. Yes, different markets will have different levels of range, of pace of movement, all of that side of it. But the principle and the process by which you do things is the same no matter what market. Likewise, someone asked about what charting platform to use. Ultimately, any principle, any idea will work on any charting platform because you're seeing the same information. So that was something I just really wanted to sort of get across. It's about the process and the principle with which you do things, not a platform won't be your solution and it's not applicable to one market individually. We use S&P, we've used oil here. We could easily use this as NASDAQ and Bund, treasuries, who knows? Like Alex said, one of our traders trade, 10 markets today? Somewhere around that number. It's about, he's still probably taking very similar trades in each of those markets.
So I just saw a question there from Connor. So Connor asked, why do you not offer backing for people that could provide a track record? Why do they need to go through your training? I mean, it's a great question. It's a question I get asked because we have backed people before who haven't been through our training, who come on our desk, who have a completely different approach. And the trickiest part, I actually had someone that we backed into the tune of 20K. We lost 20K on this trader. And he was actually with me in the Cyprus office, never went through our training, had this track record, and he sold himself incredibly well. And what happened, what the most challenging part is when he starts struggling, we can't help him. Our coaches, our resources can't help him simply because he hasn't learned the Axia framework, the Axia approach. So he has his own approach. So it becomes very hard. And then he wanted to learn the Axia training and the Axia approach. By that time, it kind of became a little bit too late. And it's really difficult to push people on performance, coach-wise, risk management, when they're going through a difficult period, if their approach is completely alien to the Axia way. So that's why we try and stay back from backing people who aren't trained from us from ground zero, because then we know where their errors are. We can pinpoint it. Ideally, we can connect them with other traders within the group in an area that they're struggling. So that's the main reason, Connor. We have taken that bet a few times, but every time when a trader hitches, inevitably all traders hit a period where they're struggling, and then the traders that we can't help, it becomes a little bit more challenging. So that's the main reason, Connor. Richard, any questions that you see per queue?
I saw one from Marius asking, is the last last day to register. You can't register since it started, so it hasn't yet started. The last day to sign up is this coming Sunday at midnight UK time. So you still have a couple of days to sign up, Marius.
Yes. I saw a question on, do we have people trading treasury futures? Yes. I know you said veteran traders. We've got traders from 2 years into 10, 15, 20 years in trading treasury futures, particularly over the last year. And this is what Alex was talking about adaptability, about recognizing the environment. Treasuries have become a massive deal over the last couple of years because of the inflation, the rate story. So markets will sort of cycle through as well. And it's about your ability to adapt, but you're still adapting with the same tools, with the same knowledge, with the same ways that you trade. But yes, we do have a fair few traders, a large number of traders who trade treasuries.
Yeah, and just to add what Richard mentioned there, so on the treasury, especially 2022, when the interest rate market was moving, a lot of our concentration, 2-year treasury, the SOFR, so the short-term interest rate. So that part of the training, the 6-week career program that focuses on data trading, there's a large part of the tactics, window 1 to window 3 trades, tactical trading in tier 1 US that affects interest rate market in the treasury space. So whatever is moving within a framework, within a structure, that's what we tackle, and that's what we keep on plowing into our traders during our training. We are pushing for people to fulfill their ultimate potential, because it is incredibly sad when you see someone who could have all the ability, all the work ethic, but they're just directed in the wrong way. They're just not, they learn a skill set in an environment that it's not even important. And, this is what we keep on focusing. And Richard pushes, our guys in our 6-week career program, the guys who graduate out of our 6-week career program, we keep on pushing these areas.
Someone asked, if you sign up today, how do you confirm that you're part of the first 15 that gets the automatic funding trial? So I can tell you that you still are able to sign up and get the funding trial. So if you're concerned about that, then definitely grab it while it's available. And then there was another one I wanted to pull out for you, Richard, but I've lost its place now, so I'll let you go.
So I just saw a question from Thomas Wright. Thomas, send us an email to info@axiafutures.com. We have a lot of big things happening next year with regards to our traders, especially for all of our alumni. Blueprint. So now the restructured 6-month blueprint trading and our career students. So there are a couple of questions there on the back in the part. So just send an email. Richard and the team have been working really hard behind the scenes on an incredibly exciting new program for all of our graduate trainee traders in the funding environment.
Indeed. I've also received an email, Thomas, so I will respond to that. Do traders exclusively trade outrights or also spreads? We've actually got a number of traders trading spreads as well, so it's not exclusively outright. Daniel's asked a question about our videos subtitled and translated into other languages. Some are. Best thing, send an email to us, info@AxiaFutures, and we can explain to you or ask specifically which ones you want to know about, and we can answer that for you rather than me trying to list which can and which can't.
Yeah. I've got 2 questions here. There's so many questions coming through, and we want to get through as many of them as possible. It's always great to be interacting with people who are involved in our space, in our game. We know how tough it is. We know, I had a big meeting with the traders yesterday. We had a little bit of a moment on the floor, and we always, it's a human endeavor with people under pressure trying to perform, and we always overcome it. But Sagi, yes, we have a prop firm here in Cyprus. Send an email to info@axiafutures.com. Let us know in Cyprus, and you can come and meet. It'll either be myself or my floor manager. So just send an email. We're just outside Limassol. That's where our floor. We've got around 22 desks. We're just building out our first floor. We're going to start packing out our traders. So we're putting so a whole bunch of guys who will be graduating from this very next program that starts on Monday. We're going to be taking traders from this program that starts on Monday onto our desk here in Cyprus. Then I have Brian and a few people, Axia America, Axia New York City, Axia Latin America. We've been asked multiple times, but we're getting closer. We're not quite there. We've just opened an Axia Bahamas, on Grand Bahama, Freeport. We're going to be there, myself, Craig, Richard, 10 of our top traders will be there over Thanksgiving for a high performance retreat. Those of you on this career program, you might be able to get even an extra little bonus of a high performance retreat of my top 12 traders, approximately $100 million worth of P&L at that retreat. We're going to be recording it, streaming it. So I think Richard, Craig, maybe we got to see, for the students who start this Monday on this training program, we'll give them access to that. We just got to make sure we've got all the cameras and all the equipment and streaming it. So fantastic. There
was a question from Sebastian asking just about the price. If this is the best price that we have ever given, and I think it's the best that's available. So if don't wait, don't hold out for something better. Like this is the one to act on.
Yeah, it won't ever get cheaper. We try and make it accessible, to make sure, remember, there are two parts of the business. There's the education part, and they're kind of part of the same group, but independent. And the education arm feeds all the talent to the pro trading regulated arm. And so that education part has to be world class. So we find traders on the top end. That's the real main business, is the is a proper side of business. So that is hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, I also got a quick question on recap on, do you need to purchase today or by Sunday? I believe we're actually typing an answer to that, but obviously that depends on the fast action bonus. Ultimately, you can get that today, but you can still sign up until Sunday.
So Axia is not in Germany, but it will be opening up an office very, very close to Germany, Greece, Thessaloniki. So keep an eye out there. It'll be an incredible floor, an incredible space. Keep an eye out for an email there. So if you don't mind just crossing, Thessaloniki, lots of German Greeks in that town. So yes, and sorry, just back to what Richard mentioned, the fast action bonus is now. The fast action bonus, if you want all of those bonuses plus the fast action bonus, we try to kind of pack it in for those who can understand and can see an opportunity. That's the type of speculator we want to be able to be, convicted and say, okay, I've seen training. I understand, or I've been following Axia Futures. Do you want to change your career? Do you want to change the trajectory of your path? And hopefully today's presentation can kind of give you an understanding of how we train our traders, and also that we have these physical places. I have someone asking questions about these remote funding trials. Simon Walker, recognize. I hope you're doing incredibly well. With regards to those remote funding trials, watch the space for next year, because I think the industry it came out to have a good intention, but I think it's been hijacked, almost Wild West type of practices. I think it is to be heavily regulated. We've obviously, a lot of people, why don't we come out with a public funding trial? We didn't like what we've seen in the marketplace. And so we're going to do something that hopefully will be completely different than the marketplace has ever seen, that could change the space. And because what we see, I think the idea is good, but I don't think these funding trials are really looking to scale big trades. They almost work like these casino models. In my view, huge people practicing, developing skill sets, fantastic. So yeah, open up an office in Split, Croatia. Velimir, we have some traders with a small little satellite office in Split. just so, but we don't advertise. It's like a satellite team office, but we have around 6 traders. We have around 6 traders out there, all spread traders actually.
Nice. Yeah, Alex, there's a few more questions. Do we teach about any other markets other than like I think with a particular interest in Indian markets or exotic markets, and then visas if people want to come to our floors.
Okay, so I mean, I can answer the one with regards to markets. So anything that's a futures, we trade the South African rand when Zuma was being indicated. As long as there's order flow, there's liquidity on the ladder, we'll train it. We have a team, an off floor that we don't advertise in Hyderabad, in India. We're actually getting access to Indian markets, hopefully next year, but mainly for our team out in India. So there is, so if we trade, the guys have been trading the Chinese, the offshore China, the HSI, so the Hong Kong, so linked to China, the yuan. So as long as there's a price ladder, there's order flow, we can execute it, and we have it from our clearing. We trade it within our framework that we discussed today, within our system, what Richard trains throughout the 6-week career program. So that's what's important. I saw someone asking a question with regards to getting on a call with us. Just